Today is not a day for failure. I've made my choice. I will not accept my limits, and I will not look back. Today is the day where body and mind will act as one to compete with no one else but myself. Whatever it takes, I know. I'm ready to come back stronger and harness my inner strength, the strength to go harder and the power to rise above. There's no turning back now. Rep by rep, I will conquer my pain and continuously raise the bar. Step by step, I will reject stagnation and push myself further, faster. I see where I want to go. I can feel my victory, and I know I can and I will be more today than yesterday. So challenge yourself and keep pushing.
Hello everyone, we are group number 3 and I'm Christos Petsas.
I'm Francisco Montoya.
I'm Mena Nejas.
And I'm Justin Shoemaker.
And I am Axel Nilsson, and today we are presenting to you our take on the Mercury case.
The first question is to know if Mercury is an appropriate target for AGI or not. We decided to analyze the footwear industry market, and we noticed that the industry has low growth but stable profit margins. That the competition is based on price, quality, brand image, and style. Some mergers and consolidation have been taking place in the last recent years, putting small companies in a weak situation. We decided then to analyze each company and their characteristics, and we found that the two companies have common grounds that will enhance the competitiveness of AGI, and that the differences between them will provide a diversification in a larger market that will also benefit AGI. For this reason, we think that Mercury is the right target for AGI.
And now let's move on to the next section. How the projections made by Littler are appropriate.
Well, if you look at the document of Mercury, we can see that Littler assumed a sales growth of only about 15% for 2006 and 2007, and which is decreasing in the coming years. However, the sales growth between 2005 and 2006 was about 40%. That's why, in the most optimistic case, we also can assume a sales growth of 40% between 2006 and 2007 and for the coming years. On the other hand, we can assume a sales growth of only about 29% for 2007 and the coming years, which is the average sales growth between 2004 and 2006. For the men's casual, we decided to go along with the assumptions made by Littler. Why? Just because during the previous year the sales were decreasing, and we suppose that Littler, that the buyout of Mercury by AGI will increase a little bit the sales. That's why we also assume a sales growth of only about 1% to 3%. Regarding the women's athletic, we can see in the document that Littler assumes a sales growth of 12% between 2006 and 2007, and that this sales growth is decreasing in the coming years. However, we decided that in the most optimistic scenario, the sales growth could reach 15%, which is the sales growth between 2005 and 2006. On the other hand, we also can assume that the sales growth will be 30.5% for 2007 and the coming years for the women's athletic, which is the average sales growth between 2004 and 2006. And finally, for the women's casual, we also decided to go along with the assumptions made by Littler. Why? Just because since this brand, the women's casual, has been launched, there is nothing positive, and that the sales become to falter in 2005 and never increased since then. That's why we totally go along with the assumption made by Liedtke and the end of the activity.
And now for question number 3, where we're supposed to estimate the value of Mercury using a discounted cash flow approach and the base case projections. So we started by constructing a cash flow statement using Liedtke's projections and the other data available. And this gave us a value for the free cash flows of the unlevered firm, which we will then discount by the weighted average cost of capital to obtain a value for the levered firm, which is more in line what we need. And during the course of these calculations, we had to make a series of assumptions. For instance, Liedtke's projections only stretch for 5 years, but we need a value that takes into account a future that's beyond those 5 years. So we assumed perpetual growth equal to the average growth rate of the US economy for 5 years, so 2.2%.
Next, in order to find the market return, we used as a proxy the average annualized weekly returns for the last 10 years of the S&P 500 index.
And for the beta calculation, as we saw before, in order to calculate the WACC, we needed the beta. And the document only gave us an equity beta of the comparable firms. That's why, thanks to our formula here of the unlevered beta, we could find asset beta for each company, and this helped us to find equity beta of Mercury in order to calculate the WACC. It's also important to add that we only were working with the risk-free debt.
When you take these assumptions and the data that was given together, we were able to calculate the weighted average cost of capital of 8.9%, which gave us a total present value of all future free cash flows of nearly $330 million.
So, thank you, Axel, but now we have to ask ourselves the question whether this acquisition price is conservative or aggressive. And the answer is it is conservative because, as Christoph said earlier, the growth rate for the revenues could be like way higher than the one Liedtke told in his assumptions. And therefore the value is very low. And actually this makes sense because Liedtke is not very objective since he's the buyer and wants the lowest value possible. To compare with that, we computed the equity value with the EV on EBITDA multiple, and there we found a very aggressive value, what also makes sense since we compare ourselves to way bigger firms than ours.
So for question 5, we show that acquiring Mercury was a good investment because it will increase revenue, but this acquisition will ensure much more benefits. IGI is on a very competitive market with low growth and is quite small, that it risk of being overtaken by others. This acquisition will allow AGI to grow faster and bigger and then to face consolidation. Moreover, widening the target would avoid cannibalization. The company would also be more efficient. With Mercury, it can boost its capacity utilization and make economies of scale and scope. And moreover, it will require less employees and less costs. Mercury will adopt AGI's inventory management system at a little incremental cost and then lower it at the same level as AGI's one. Another benefit is that this acquisition will increase the bargaining power of suppliers and distributors because the new company will be more powerful. IGI can also extend its distribution channel and maybe follow the Mercury's women casual footwear line. And this will represent a revenue growth of 3%, which is quite good, and they will benefit from IGI brand awareness and image. Finally, this acquisition will be a source of knowledge. Employees from both companies could learn from each other and in every department.
Thank you, everyone, for
The attention.